Welcome back guys to the NVM channel. This is episode 2 of the E46 B58 swapped project.
V Motorsport is in the game. Gang.
So in the last episode we told you we are fitting a B58 engine to our E46 Touring. There's a lot that we need to measure up and fabricate for this to work. For this to work. The E46 does come with a 6-speed manual and 6-cylinder engine in the M3 variant, so we know dimensions are very similar to that of the B58, although mounting points are completely different. Our main focal point today is to fabricate the mounts for the front subframe to the engine block and also the transmission hanger. Our biggest concern looking at it is the steering rack. So the stock steering rack has this massive guibo which would have interfered with any sort of mounting locations, but we have made a custom one from an F series. We are utilizing the stock steering rack, although for now we have blanked off the power steering. For obvious reasons, A, because the B58 doesn't come from factory with a power steering pump on any of the pulleys. It is electronic actuated in the rack. So that's going to be something that we need to address later on in this build. Now, the great thing about the E46 platform is underneath the vehicle, there is actually 3 points for the drive shaft to mount to. Now, obviously our 318i was a 5-speed manual. So the actual length of the prop from the guibo to the front is actually quite long, so we can't utilize the front half of this drive shaft. Although at the rear, as we said in the last video, we are going to utilize the original rear diff. Now I don't know how strong that diff is, so we won't know until we get some driving power through it. It has got the 4-bolt flange at the back, but that could be a weak point and it could possibly fracture there. But again, this is all going to be a bit of trial and error with the prop shaft, and eventually we should have a great solution. Transmission hanger, we've taken some dimensions from there and we've sent it off to our lads to get some custom brackets made, and we've got a spare subframe as well to mock up some sort of tubular subframe for the front so that we're nice and light and rigid at the front too. What is it, lunchtime? Let's go for some lunch, mate.
Sold in. I couldn't make it this weekend, otherwise you would have seen the footage. But how was the weekend?
You missed out, mate. You missed out. We were up in Yorkshire with the guys from The Run. Shout out to you guys, always supporting, especially the NVM VIP group. We landed there. Sandis obliterated everything.
What, in his M5?
In his M5, NVM Stage 2 M5. There was a couple of cars that thought they had it when Sandis was in rear-wheel drive mode. Definitely a good day. Met up with driver Dave and Michael Shoeblacker again. So that was a good event. I think you did miss out, and the guys at home missed out because no one was recording it. But if we've got any clips, we'll chuck them in now.
So where are we going now, Mabs?
We're going to our mate Gary's place to pick up some brackets that we've kind of designed and prototyped for the B58 engine. There's a bit of fabrication we need to do, but we need to get these kind of 100% right to get the angle of the engine. The B58 doesn't sit flat on the top of the block, so getting that angle in comparison to one in an M140 is so important, and it's going to take a lot of work. So yeah, 3D scanning, 3D prototyping, welding, cutting, grinding, all of that is going on, and we're going to have the best E46 Touring in the world. Get here!
Get me, fam!
Sign my life away.
Right, is mine for 24 years.
Gary, what's going on with your car? Are we putting a big turbo on it? 4-wheel drive in comparison to his last car, M140, NVM Stage 1 beast.
Oh, that was a beast, Babs. I wish I had that back now.
Oh, mate.
Bring
it
back.
Another one?
Bring it back. Another one? I am. I'm going to have one for spare.
Oh, yeah. One for the weekend to let his hair down.
Yeah. Have you seen the air, guys? No airs. Don't forget, this is a solar panel for a love machine.
This goes to the block. That goes to the engine mount. And I need a piece of 6mm to go to. So our prototype mounts are on there. We've made some modifications to the rear transmission mount. The engine's been in and out a couple of times. There's some clearance that we need to make on the front subframe, hence why we bought another subframe. So we'll make all the clearances and then mock up our new subframe so that it fits nicely under this sump. Our aim is to get good clearance and make sure no engine movement is going to interfere with any parts of the E46. So yeah, not an easy process, but it's got to be done. So there's a lot of trimming that we need to do, measuring up as well, trying to get this block as center to the car as possible, both vertically and horizontally. Yes, on the E46, the entry roll bar isn't part of the subframe, so it does kind of interfere, so we might have to build some sort of spacer and move that entry roll bar slightly forward and down too, but it is what it is. I mean, this engine was never made to fit this vehicle, so let's take a look underneath. So as I mentioned in the last episode, we are utilising the OEM 318i rear diff for now, just to get the car running in position so we can mock up a prop shaft, but we might have to change that depending on how much power and torque it can take and what sort of speed comes out of that gearbox to that diff ratio. There is 3 different mounting points on this, and currently on the 318i, it runs the furthermost, smallest bearing. So obviously there's 2 other mounting points for the other 2 variants of engines. The biggest 6-speed 2.2 and also the 3.2 E46 M3. Where the engine is sitting currently, it's a bit tight, so we are going to have to fabricate something to bring the engine and gearbox slightly lower than what it is now. It is 100% horizontal, so there's no tilt on it, so we know that it will fit. It just needs to come down a little. A lot of fabrication, a lot of things have to be made specific for this. Even the shifter rod has to be modified so that we can get actual gear selection. But yeah, we're a huge way away from starting this car, but make sure you guys stay tuned, subscribe and smash that thumbs up for more on this build. Another day. You gotta love some laser cut parts. Beautiful. There is no easy way of doing this. There's a lot of prototyping, a lot of measurements, welding, grinding, cutting, going back to the drawing board, making sure everything fits like OEM, and we want to be able to create a product so you guys can purchase at home on our website and fit a B58 to your E46 too. More measuring to do today, specifically trying to work out the prop shaft length based upon where we've got the engine situated. So we need to take all these measurements and head over to our mate Sandis's and go get some parts. I come here more often than I do my Asda shopping, mate. Yeah, M&S guy you are. Anyway, let's go. Tape measure. How long's a piece of string? Going straight to the back. We're at the boneyard. We have a couple of drive shafts here. And obviously, the fatter the shaft, the stronger it'd be technically. So
what have you just looked at over there?
Yeah, there's quite a few diesel ones. Have a look at the difference, look. That's come off a 520D X-Drive. So that'll be the thickest, strongest shaft you can get because of the torque the diesel makes. And then you got like the petrol variants. We're gonna have to utilize a few different drive shafts and work out which sort of center bearing we're gonna use. Because I mean, the one that's on that 318i E46 is actually tiny and it used the smallest mounting point. So I think all of these are going to be slightly bigger, can withstand more. So we'll try and split the shaft and make some sort of Frankenstein prop shaft. Also, we need a few other things. I mean, spare wiring connectors for the wire harness that we're going to build, a water pump. We came here a few episodes ago, didn't we? For the water pump for that 1 series, we needed another one of them. And it's great having a parts place like this, especially when it's your mates. It's mad because all these transmissions are very similar, like the 6-speed manuals throughout the range of BMWs, but getting one with a shift rod that's kind of goes behind the output shaft of the Guibo is key. And you know, you only find them on the old BMs. We also need wire harnesses, not just any wire harnesses. Obviously the E46 era was, you know, first of the CAN communication, so a lot of the wires were very thin, brittle. So throughout the car, to communicate with the rest of the car, whatever ECU we go with, we need wiring to patch that through. Also, the main power wire, front to rear, has got to be able to cope with the ancillaries of a B58, the alternator draw, the actual firing current of the starter motor. Yeah, there's so much in play, and I think we'll cover more of this in the next episode. It's like a proper pick and mix here. We've got so many ZF gearboxes. It makes me want to do a ZF gearbox conversion. It'll be so much easier because you don't have to worry about the shifter. And obviously the actual box is smaller, so the prop shafts that could fit would fit easier to that on a ZF8. We're not shopping for steering wheels. We're not shopping for interior. We said we need to get that engine in, firing and driving before we do anything else. So yeah, let's grab a few bits, head back and see if they fit. So we have to take a whole heap of parts, not just one part. We don't know how it's going to work. Bit of cutting, welding, grinding, all of the usual stuff. Yeah. So quite a few different prop shafts we've collected now. Just want to see if it kind of mates up to the 6-speed manual. Oh, and it's beautiful and snug. Obviously the length and where it sits is going to be some fabrication and a half, but we want to get that center bearing in the center of the car, or as close to the center of the car as possible, because that'll give us good torque transfer to the back and less pressure on that actual bearing itself. So I think there's going to be a bit of cutting, fabrication, utilizing the OEM rear diff, and hopefully it doesn't blow. I mean, it's great that BMW kind of make prop shafts that all look the same, but the actual PCD, the pitch circle diameter between the bolt holes, are completely different from the E46, the F series, the E series, E90 versions. So it's going to be quite a bit of fabrication to get it on.
What are you measuring now?
So I'm measuring the front original prop shaft off the E46 when it was a 5-speed box. Obviously the front is too long, now the 6-speed box takes up most of that space, but we have split it in half, so I want to be able to utilize the rear side of that prop and use the front side of an M140 for example. So I've just split it. Let's have a look if it moment of truth. It's not looking good, bruv. So it looks like it's back to the drawing board. So I was hoping I could make a bit of a Frankenstein prop shaft from the E series and the F series, but it looks like it's not going to work. So it's back to the drawing board to figure out how we're going to get any of that driving power to the rear of the car. But for more of that, you guys will have to subscribe, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss an episode on the E46, and smash that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Don't matter if you cars for the road or tracks. Mexico on the lanes, or Dunnington doing up laps. Car man, I got maps, doing up maps. Maximum power, cars get gapped. They got tuners, we got tuners, but they're tuners a load of. Man got the map, what kind of map? Best boat map, fastest lap. Zoom in, pass, don't watch out, big man map. 3 maps, take a passenger seat, watch a man collapse. Foot to the floor, rev to the max. The team come through like X. All you see is flames, all you hear is bits and bangs. Subscribe and like, the visuals nice. With times in the cam, the drive is right when programmed right. The MV gang, he's doing it well, he's doing it right, and they can't do it like man. NV Motorsport, it's in the game. Gang.